You never know.
Okay. Hey, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of Youngster Cop. We are going to be doing Liverpool versus Aston Villa post-match reactions. And today, Andrew, Stephen can't make it today, so I'm going to be welcomed by two recurring guests. So we have the lovely Sophie. How you doing, Sophie?
I'm all right.
Good. And we also have Dave, LFC Chats. How you doing, Dave?
I'm fantastic, my friend. A little bit older, but happy.
Also giving Dave a birthday shout out. So everyone in the chat, give Dave a birthday shout out. It was his birthday yesterday. So
Today.
Today. I know, yesterday. So wish him
today.
a happy birthday. You know.
Thank you.
Okay, so Liverpool had a very good win. Well, not a very good win. It was good to get the 3 points on board yesterday after disappointing results against Real Madrid. How are you, everyone, feeling in terms of the lineup when you saw it? Because there was obviously again a lot of commotion on Twitter over the fact that he started Fabinho, Gini, and Milner from midfield and left out some creative players to Villa at home, especially with Villa not having Jack Grealish. So, you know, Dave, we'll start with you. How were you feeling about the lineup when you saw it?
Pretty much predicted that lineup. I knew Milner would start midfield. I knew Mane be dropped. That was the two big decisions. The back four wouldn't be touched with the goalkeeper. You can't touch them. They won't be touched against Madrid either. I just knew that. It was just who was going to play in midfield and who was going to be dropped up front. And pretty much that was the way it had to be. And that was the way it worked out. I know it was a tight game and stuff, but I just knew Mane needed a rest. He needed a rest big time. And he got it. And Milner needed a game in midfield and he got it. So I was happy enough with the lineup. I pretty much predicted that lineup, to be fair, Whelmy.
Okay, and what about you, Sophie? Were you happy with the lineup? Did you think it was a bit too defensive?
No, I think you. Come on, let's just talk about the 7-2 quickly. We needed a little bit more of a security there, and I feel like exactly what Dave said. We knew that Mane was going to be dropped, and I said it on your channel yesterday, Dave, and that like we needed a leader, and I think. Oh, he's gone. My homie's gone.
My boys are taking over the game. He's not let it back in. He's not let back in.
No, he's not allowed. It's our show.
You might as well continue anyway. You're head over the Youngster Cop. Go.
But I was saying on yours, wasn't I, yesterday, that we needed a leader in midfield, and we were really missing Jordan Henderson recently. Look at him giggling.
Yeah, I don't know how it there. Just keep me out.
I was just saying, how we needed a leader in midfield, and because Gini was our captain, and there's no voice when Gini's captain. I'm sorry, I do love him, but there's no voice with him. And I just felt like when Milner was on there, my instant reaction was he's been put in there to control, to be a leader. And then as the game went on, obviously we saw that Milner was swapping into left back and giving Robbo a little bit more freedom, a little bit more time, a bit more recovery time, and that. And I thought that was a really clever idea by Klopp because we know that Milner can play left back. So I wasn't upset with the lineup at all. I just kind of thought, well, we'll just see how it goes. And obviously, in the end, it went okay, but we made hard work of it.
Yeah, I think we did. I think I understood for me, obviously, the reason why he did the shake-up. And, obviously, I don't think it was that detrimental for us overall. I did think Mane needed a rest. So I did think Bobby should have started. I did think I was surprised, obviously, that I thought Gini would be rested because he looked on his deathbed in terms of his energy levels, and so I was surprised that someone like Ox or Shaq wasn't given a go, but that was the team he went with. So when we looked, when we were breaking down the actual game, like I thought Liverpool started quite brightly, in terms of. Possession. Obviously, Villa as well, I thought started quite brightly. They were quite positive. But overall, in that first half, we looked like the better team overall. What did you guys make of the Watkins goal? Because, there's obviously people who are obviously stating that, there's a mixture of errors there. I felt obviously when you look at the goal, Gini and Milner allowed, I think it was McGuinness to run past unpressurized. And then he got the ball to Watkins. And then Kabak potentially could have got tied to Watkins. And then Alisson really should have saved it. You expect to keep his level to save it. So start with you, Sophie. Like, what did you make of that goal? And like, What did you feel the breakdown was that caused that to that goal? Because it kind of felt again like it was against the run of play in terms of Liverpool dominate that game.
Yeah, we were like that first half. What was it? The first 20 minutes, we had 71 possession that entire game. Like we were absolutely all over them everywhere they went. Like they were making straight passes in their final third, and we were picking them up straight away. I feel like it was literally just a lapse in concentration. Because even us watching it, I just kind of went, how the fuck has he got there? How has he done that? Like we didn't even, well, I didn't personally, I didn't even see how it got through, because I felt like we were so in control of the game that it was just like a momentary lapse in judgment by the boys, and obviously it went through. And then Ollie Watkins went round, and I feel like was it Phillips who was with him, or was it Kabak who was running side by side with Ollie for that goal?
Kabak.
Was it Kabak? I felt like Kabak could have done better to get that, but again, Kabak plays a little bit like Virgil, where he tries to stay on the person rather than take the ball out from underneath them. And I feel like that kind of hindered him a little bit when Ollie obviously was a lot quicker than Kabak. But Alisson should have been saving that every single day of the week. I said it on Dave yesterday that, when you've got a player like Alisson, regardless of who you put in front of him, you should be able to put two middle-aged women in front of him who've never played football a day in their lives, and he should be able to save those. He won the first Golden Glove for the goalies, and that's the way he performs. Like, I understand, and I'm sure I repeat myself on what I said yesterday, I understand he's going through a personal difficulty right now, but just like everybody else, the world doesn't stop and your job doesn't stop, and you kind of have to put your game face on, put your professionalism on, and do what you're meant to do your job. And for a player of that standard, regardless of whether you've got Virgil van Dijk standing in front of you or whether you've got a 20-year-old and a 23-year-old in front of you, you need to be saving like an easy goal like that. It wasn't like it was up in the air and it dipped and it curved. He nearly had it. It was right to the right of him. He went down. But he should have read that much quicker. And I don't really blame the defenders for that. I blame Alisson for that goal, to be honest, because I expect Alisson to save that. He saved some world-class goals, amazing shot-stopping ability, which we know Alisson is good for. Yeah, he can't really take penalties, but he can stop shots, and he let one like that in. So I completely blame Alisson for that goal. Like, it shouldn't have happened.
Yeah, I agree with you. It was like I did as well tweet after the end that Alisson's form has been a concern throughout the whole season. What did you take of the goal, Dave? Like, did you feel that it was purely down to Alisson, or did you feel that it was a combination? Because, as I said before, some people did feel that it was too easy from midfield for Villa to get. They weren't pressed. It was too easy for them to get the ball to Watkins and then get the shot away. So, what did you feel of the goal?
No, it was Alisson. I mean, he's a top goalkeeper, top 5 in the world, probably. Top Brazilian international. He's ahead of Ederson, by the way. He's the number 1 Brazilian goalkeeper. It was straight at him. I don't know what he was doing. He dived and he hit his hand. It went underneath him. He got a hand to it, but it went underneath him. You have to blame the keeper for that. You have 2 young centre halves in front of him. You could probably blame Kabak, I think it was, who let your man get the shot away. He turned and swiveled Watkins, who was a bit of a danger and a threat throughout the game. But I blame the keeper for that. A top keeper saves that, basically. And Alisson, as you said, his form has been, let's say, not great in the last few weeks. Even 1 or 2 of the Madrid goals last week, the 3-1, I thought he should have did better with as well. You know what I mean? So his form has been a bit sketchy. That's to be nice. A nice on him, sketchy. And what I mean, like, you have 2 young centre halves in front of you. You don't have Virgil van Dijk in front of you. Controlling everything in front of him. And I mean, I'm sure Alisson's probably even a little bit more nervy with the likes of Kabak and Phillips in front of him because they haven't got the experience. They haven't got, the nous of of defending. So I blame Alisson, unfortunately, for the bat. Luckily, it wasn't to be too damaging for us, but it certainly put us on the back foot. And it was against the run of play. To be fair, it was against the run of play.
Let's read out some of these comments. Chris Welch says, "Hey, it's my boy Trent scoring the winner. That was a good goal from Trent." Klopp out saying, "You guys are happy with that performance? 2-1 against Villa B team that won with a last-minute goal." Well, look, Klopp out. What I say, look, it was about getting a win yesterday rather than the actual performance. Blade Brown says we were very lucky yesterday, reserved to lose. To be honest,
no,
I don't think so.
Didn't deserve to lose. You just stop. God's
Marcus
sake.
says,
we were lucky, though. We were lucky.
Yeah, I think maybe, yeah, I could see.
If anything, a draw, but you're not deserving to lose.
Yeah,
You know, it wasn't as if Villa had all the bloody chances.
All right, so
Yeah,
let's just
game or you watch
another game we were looking at, right? If we were looking at the stats of the game, not Liverpool, just another game in general, a team with 66% possession, 23 shots and 10 on target, you're telling me that team deserves to lose a game?
No.
That's just Martinez being a really good goalkeeper. That's him doing what he's paid to do.
And it's bad finishing. It's bad finishing.
Yeah, you know, we had 10 shots on target that game. We were not lucky to win that. We should have won that, without a doubt, but we should have been better in the final third. Decision-making again.
Yeah, I agree with that. Marcus says, great show. Let's see what home should represent all the time. Well, I'm not going to take it away from Andrew and Stephen, the very good present host as well. We were lucky to win. It was a scrap performance from Liverpool. I don't think we have a chance against Real Madrid. We'll go on to Real Madrid later on, towards the end of the show. But I wouldn't be as defeated as you're saying, Oscar. And then Babe Brown says, Robbie Fowler's been doing good in the Indian Premier League. Klopp out and Fowler in. Okay, I wouldn't go as far as saying Klopp out. Okay, but you're entitled to your opinion.
Really?
Okay, yeah, so
Okay.
you know, obviously people are entitled to opinions. You know, I don't agree with it. We don't. The rest of us don't agree with it. But you know, that's what you think. That's what you think. So going on to the Bobby goal. So I have no idea why the goal was disallowed when I saw it on the replay. I didn't watch the game live, but I saw it on the replay.
Wow.
And I think it's again like another example of, you know, the people. I heard it was Tony Coates who was the guy in the technical area that ruled it out, and I think he's a terrible referee. And I think I just saw as well another stat that showed, you know, that the most Premier League goals disallowed by VAR since the start of 2019 to 2020, Liverpool have had 10 goals disallowed, the most for VAR. So I'm not saying that there's anything against Liverpool in terms of VAR, but we had a lot of decisions go against us that were probably should not have been called off for goals. So what did you make of the disallowed goal? And did you feel that was another VAR howler? We'll start with you, Sophie.
Oh, well, I had my opinion on this yesterday, didn't I? Like, during half-time, I had my opinion on it.
What did you say, Sophie?
VAR consistently. VAR is absolutely shambolic. And I just, like Wahoma, you've just said then that the referee who was running VAR yesterday isn't a good referee, but it doesn't really matter. It shouldn't matter whether the person running VAR is a really good referee or a really shit referee, because at the end of the day, you've got a computerized system there that will automatically, from the parameters that you've set as the FA, you've set that target and said these are the parameters to an offside goal. This is what will be onside. This is what will be offside, and your system will automatically take the pixels and draw those lines and tell you. We saw it when VAR came into use, and Jamie Carragher was in the back room, and he said it'll have a green light and a red light, and it will tell you whether it's onside or offside. So why are these referees feeling the need to then go in and draw these lines themselves? Because if you're going to do that and waste all this time and suck the fun out of football and celebrating a goal, you might as well just go back to the linesman, putting the flag up. You know, if you really want to be funny about it, you might as well get the linesmen to just run up and down the side of the pitch and you go, no, that's outside, no. And have them make the decisions on the pitch, you know, go back to what it was, because we all thought that this was going to stop those errors, and it hasn't. And yesterday was a perfect example of that. When Trent, what the frame they took from when the contact came in with Trent with the pass, when you look at the shadow, the ball's already left Trent's foot. And they're saying that Bobby was offside because of that frame that they've used. But that frame wasn't initial contact. So if you took that back, 2 seconds earlier, would Bobby have been onside then? But even then, I don't even think Bobby was offside then. Like I said, I tweeted out during that, that VAR decision. I could fit my car between the two of them. Like, there was not onside.
Must be a small car.
I've got a Fiesta. Sorry.
Oh, that's small.
Yeah. But I was saying, before we came on here, someone on my timeline, I can't remember who it was, I think it was Sam Whitey or something, he put up a picture of the lines of VAR and they'd drawn a square box, like on paint type thing, where it's obviously perfectly straight angled. And the pink lines like this against Bobby. So they'd angled the line and they'd angled it from, his elbow You can't score with your elbow. That's handball. So you need to take that line up to the end of the sleeve or his knee, whatever was further forward, and do it that way. But it wasn't offside. I was furious. I was like, I'm not watching the second half. I'm not watching it. Shite, I'm not doing it. But I think Bobby was robbed of a really, really good home goal yesterday. I feel like that's a common theme. Bobby getting overruled with goals all the time. So, no, wasn't happy.
Before I get to you, Dave, I'm just going to share this break-in. So Tottenham are losing.
Yeah,
they are 2-1 down
2-1
to
United, yeah. 2-1, yeah.
I'm not one to celebrate United, but they are doing us a favour. So
I still want them to lose no matter what. But anyway,
get to you, Dave.
I'll tell you what it is. VAR. I'll tell you about VAR. Vehicle assisted referee. It's meant to assist the referee, right? That's what's meant to do. I don't think VAR in itself is wrong. It's the bloody human beings that interpretate the VAR. That's the problem. Those guys at Stockley Park or whatever they are, that's the problem. As Sophie said, the drawing of the lines, they're using the wrong bloody rulers. What the hell are they using? Bent rulers. I mean, it's just, that's how crazy it is. The VAR itself is good. I mean, the ball's over the line, even if it's a millimetre over the line, it's a goal. If it's a millimetre on the line, it's not a goal. We've seen it against City 3 seasons ago. We know all about that. But that one yesterday is the problem, I think, with VAR. I mean, whatever happened to giving the forward the benefit of the doubt? I don't know whether you remember that a few years ago. Yeah. If the forward was level, even if he was a millimetre, his hair, his eyebrows were offside, he'd get the benefit of the doubt because it's all about scoring goals. And that's what we want in football. That's what we like in football. Plus reactions. As Sophie says, I used to do reaction videos for goals. How the can I do it? Like yesterday, I was doing a Firmino reaction, and I was about to post it, and then it comes back and says it's up, like it's offside. And I'm like, what? You know, it's crazy. So the reaction and the spontaneous reaction that you get from someone scoring a goal, spontaneity, is gone out the window because there is none. Do you know what I mean? The energy you get, the goal goes in, yes, get in, all that is. Let's wait until the referee has a look. You know, it's ruining the game that way. But as I said, it's not VAR itself. They're going to look at it in the summer, I know, and they're going to probably take away this real marginal thing and make it a little easier to read. But I think it's the humans behind the screens. That's the problem. But we're not going to get rid of that unless it's robotic, automated maybe.
But I just think if you look at it, sorry, just quickly, if you look at it when it's in use in the Champions League, you get European refs and it works really well. And that's why I was all for VAR coming in, because we had it in the Champions League before it came to the Prem. And I was like, this is really good. It's going to stop everything. But I feel like they're checking all the wrong things. I feel like they're checking offsides that aren't offsides. Like even when our Trent goal went in, people were like, oh no, just wait a minute because VAR will find something. They'll file a foul in the build-up to the goal. But when there's an actual foul in the build-up to the goal that dramatically impacts them scoring, it's not looked at. Yeah. What VAR was brought in for was offsides, like actual offsides, red cards, and referee mistakes. That's what it was for. And they're checking things, and it's the equivalent of going outside and cutting your grass with a ruler and a pair of scissors and making sure it's
like Milner.
Yeah, like Millie did. It's the equivalent of doing that, and it's completely destroying it. But if you look in the Dutch league, at the minute they've got that benefit of the attacker's benefit to the doubt type ruling, and they say like if it's too close to call, it's onside, and that's the way it should be. They're drawing all these little lines and then recalibrating them, and they're always wonky. They're never straight. So just go with what your system says to be, because if your system works, then surely what it says initially would be right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, VR works in Australia. I think the rugby over there works really well over there. You can hear what the referees are talking about. It works across the rest of Europe. So in England, where they have issues with it. So
it works in rugby. It works in rugby and cricket as well.
Yeah, I think because
you can hear the referee. You can hear the referee.
Yeah, I think it's more that our officials in England are rubbish, and they have been for years. I think that's the issue. So, if they can do something to correct the people using it rather than actually the system itself, would be better going forward.
But they won't.
But
These
But
They're
referees.
looking at it this summer. Apparently, they're going to revisit it this summer.
I don't think they're going to make that many changes to it.
They're not
It's
gonna
not.
do- We've had the same. Sorry, Remy. We've had the same referees for about 45 million years. It feels like we never have a new referee. The FA put out the other day that a female referee was reffing her first game in the was it League One or Championship? And I was like, why is she in? If you're training all these new referees with the new laws of the game, why aren't you going, well, hang on a minute, if we've got somebody who can, I'm not just saying because she's a woman, just anybody, why can't you look at the referees in the lower leagues and be like, they know the laws of the game, their decisions are working really well, why don't we try and promote some of them into the Premier League? And
they do promote them, but it takes time. It takes time. It's like a trade. You don't just walk into the Premier League.
No, I know you don't. But what I'm saying is, if you're looking at Martin Atkinson, he's a terrible referee, absolutely. But how many times can a referee make very bad judgment calls and then after the fact be told by VAR after the game's finished and then the final whistle's blown, and they turn around to VAR, go, well, actually, hang on a minute, or the Premier League turn around and go, well, actually, that was a goal, or that was actually a red card, and that was a foul. How many times can that happen before those referees get held accountable? Because I'm pretty sure if Klopp says one thing in a post-match interview that speaks so much as ill of a referee or official, he gets fined £8,000.
Oh yeah.
How long can it be before they start getting held accountable for their decisions? Because their decisions are causing players to get significant injuries.
Yeah, definitely agree. I think it's one thing with VAR we're going to be talking about it forever.
You could do a whole podcast on VAR, to be fair.
Yeah, you could.
Let's be real,
I think until you get better referees, it's not going to change. But going back to the match, at half time, there was an interesting stat that went around that it said that excluding penalties, Liverpool haven't scored with any of their last 127 Premier League shots in home matches, and at that time we had 12 attempts. So, do you guys feel there's a massive issue there in terms of our strikers finishing chances? Because I think even yesterday, Salah should have scored when he had that one-on-one chance. That was a bad miss. Mane probably should have squared it or scored towards the end of the game. The times we haven't had the creativity in certain games, but there have been plenty of games where we've had the chances, we missed simple chances. So, what is the reason why our strikers are so shot shy this season, or they just can't sometimes find the back of the net? And how can we go about fixing that? Because obviously this is a massive issue in terms of, even our conversion ratio. They're saying a stat was that Liverpool have a 0.9% in the league, which is the lowest for conversions of scoring goals at home. So obviously there's a massive issue there with us scoring at Anfield. So we'll start with you, Dave. What can we do to is that a concern, and how can we go about fixing it?
Well, obviously it's a concern if your strikers aren't scoring. But Mo Salah is still scoring, isn't he? He's the one and only out of the famous front three that has been scoring nearly every game, every second game. He's a great goals record. Where would we be without Mo Salah? But Mane's drop-off has been huge. I'm sure you have noticed Mane's drop-off has been absolutely huge from last year or the year before. People were talking Mane up as being the number one striker ahead of even Salah. I remember at the start of last season, he was Mane was probably man of the season last year, the year before. It was unbelievable. He was the first name on the sheet. But you'll always get a drop-off with players. Confidence, if you're a striker and you're playing up front, it's all about scoring goals, isn't it? Really? You don't care if you have a good game, you don't score a goal. You should be annoyed if you haven't scored a goal, because that's what makes strikers so good. Some of them are nasty, some of them are selfish. If top strikers are selfish. Let's look at the real top strikers in the last 50 years. They're all selfish. You know what I mean? I was going to course there. They're all selfish. And that's what makes them so good, homie. You know what I mean? And you can call Salah selfish all you want, but that's what makes him so good. Mane probably sometimes isn't as selfish, and probably that's what he needs to do. But it's confidence. He needs to score. He needs to get an easy goal. He had a chance yesterday running through on goal. You seen it? I don't know. He should have took it on even more or passed it, but he did neither. And just the easy option was to shoot when it was the worst option of the three options he had. It's confidence. Jota's been a nice shot in the arm. He started literally ground running. Even when he came back from injury, he was okay. So he's been a big bonus. But up front, it's all about confidence. That's what it is. It's confidence. And once you get a few goals, I mean, look at Bobby. Bobby's the classic example. He hadn't scored at Anfield for something like 7,000 years. I mean, he scored. It was a good finish the other day. I know it was called off ultimately for offside, but it was a nice little calm chip finish. But he needed that goal. He really did need that goal. And obviously he didn't get it. But it's confidence. I don't know. It's confidence. A lot of players go through things like that. You just don't want it to last forever. But Bobby seems to have been longer than even Mane. And the two of them, out of the top three we've had, the three kings we've had, were unbelievable. You only ever needed one to play well to win games. Salah, luckily for us, has been playing well most of the time. But Mane and Firmino's drop-off has been huge. And that's hard for any team to take. And I think it's just confidence. Well, homie, you have to play through it. Play through the barrier.
Before I get to you, Seth, I just want to share, like, J-Dot, I think, shares your sentiments. Where would you be without Jota and Salah? Yeah, so the same question to you, Seth. Like, it's clearly a concern. And I get all what Dave's saying. But obviously, Salah has scored a lot of goals. But, if you compare Salah to some of the other like top strikers, his sometimes not the most clinical. So obviously, in that game, if we hadn't scored that late goal from Trent, we would be looking back to that Salah chance in the first half potentially, or the Mane one, and saying, we come away from with the draw, and our strikers have again turned up in terms of being clinical enough. So, what would you say we do to kind of fix it? And how much of a concern is that for you? In terms as well, like us getting top four and even staging a comeback against Madrid, we need our strikers to be clinical.
When you find out, let me know.
I just told you.
You can say confidence, but I think everybody's confidence is absolutely shot this season. And confidence isn't an easy thing to build up. When your confidence is knocked, or you're already starting to get in your head, someone saying, like yourself, Dave, you just got to push through. It's really difficult to do, especially when you've got thousands and thousands of people on social media absolutely battering you for one bad decision making in a game. And I think this season specifically has been worse for online abuse towards players because there aren't fans in the stadium. They've been a bit pickier. I feel like personally, they're picking up on more mistakes, more errors than they ever had before. But I don't know if you can just blame it down on confidence anymore. I think it's a whole team as a unit. And I've said this many, many times, and I'll keep saying it. Our team works like a domino effect from the back to the midfield to the front. That's how we play. We are not really like a long ball type team, over the top of them and, break on the counter. We're not a Spurs, sit back and then break on the counter. We are a, defence to midfield to striker type team. And that's the way we play football, with the triangle passes like liquid. And it's not there. That's not there. And I think that as a team, as a unit, despite the fact, and I'll go back, and I'm not blaming injuries. I'm not. I'm just blaming the difference in team, the different lineups we've had. Normally, as Liverpool, we have a very set lineup. We make one or two changes, for fresh legs or injury. But we've had so many players rotate in and out this season. We saw it again yesterday. We had Mane was dropped. We had Milner in midfield. The game before that, Thiago wasn't in midfield. Naby was. The game before that, Bobby was dropped. And I feel like, although we asked for those changes at the time, when you look back historically, we have had a lot of team changing. And I feel like that's going to impact as well because they need to gel. Like, players need to gel in order to have that confidence, to have that flow of the game. And I don't know what the answer is. I really don't. And I think we can sit here all day and dissect what the problem is and why our final three aren't clicking, why they aren't clinical then. But we don't know any more or any better than the people who are working with these players day in, day out. Klopp and the trainers, they know what's going on. They understand what needs to be done, but I don't know what we could say that would be the answer, because what we may say, like, it's confidence or the connection between the teammates, that might not be a problem at all. It might be something completely different. It might just be lack of fans. It might be just the way the world is in general. You don't know, and I don't know what the answer is or how it can be fixed, but I've never seen our front three quite like this before. I don't understand it. I don't get it.
I'm going to highlight this. I think this covers some of Mane. He's because we don't know the full effects of when people have COVID and how it still affects them. So I think when I look at Mane, for example, I think it's a combination of things. Obviously he's had COVID. There's obviously been the disruptions to the team. He's also played a lot of football over the last 3 years, where he's not had a chance to really rest. I think maybe this summer could be the only time that he probably gets rest. I don't think he's going to go. He's not going to go to the Olympics, anything like that. So that's going to be the first time. So I think as well with the strikers, with some of them it is a lack of rotation, a lack of rest. So it's a combination of things. But I think going forward we need to find an answer quickly because it is a concern. But just before everyone else go any further, everyone else, there's 11 people in the chat. Make sure you hit that like button, smash it. And also, if you haven't subscribed, make sure you subscribe because the more you subscribe and like, the more people are going to get out. So please do that. So going back to the game, with the Salah goal, I thought that was like the old Robbo. It's been a while since we've seen Robbo put in a good cross, make a good run. Because I think up until January, I would arguably say Robbo was arguably our best player. Maybe Fabinho or Gini could argue that. But I think up until that point, I think obviously there's been like a massive drop off in him going forward, and I think that's obviously because he's had to play a lot of games, and obviously Simica's been injured, so it's all caught up with Robbo. But what did you make of that cross? And also, what did you make of that clinical instinct is Salah there to know to be in that box to head the ball into the goal? So we'll start with you, Saif. What did you make of Robbo's performance overall, and what did you make of the Salah goal?
Well, to be fair, when Salah's goal actually went in, I didn't actually celebrate it, nor did I really register that it kind of gone in because I was just expecting it to be like VAR to be like, no, you're not having it, which they later did. Robbo, for me, has been one of the most consistent players we've ever had. He's just a workhorse. He's just constantly bombing it down that left side. I've said it before that Mane's drop-off has really impacted Robbo because their link-up used to be really, really, really tight, and it's not been. And I think Robbo's had to kind of compensate for Mane's dropping form type thing. And as a result, his game has taken a little bit of a knock as well. However, I did say at the start of the podcast that Milner being brought on, I think actually in hindsight was a really good move by Klopp because he did pivot into that left-back position, which did allow Robbo that freedom to move forward. And we saw it more often. He was making more chances. He was being more creative because he had that space. And he knew that, Milner would fill in behind him. Overall, I feel like Robbo's just one of those players that will always put in a bit of a good shift for us, no matter what he does, whether it's an outstanding game or just a middle of the run game. He always kind of does the right thing at the right time. I can never really fault Robbo. I don't know about other people, but I tend to pick the players who link up with him, and he seems to react to them. So if they have a drop in form, he drops off in form. If they play really well, he plays because he relies on that link up. But it was a beautiful cross to Salah. It was really creative of him, and it was a good display of teamwork for that goal. But like I said, I can't really comment on the actual goal because I just kind of went no. I blocked it from my memory because I was like, that's not going in, that's not going to happen. And next minute I'm sat there going, oh my God, it actually has. So I can't really comment on the actual goal because I don't really remember it either.
What about you, Dave? What did you think of Robbo? What did you think of the Salah goal?
I thought it was a shot from Robbo and the keeper parried it out and Salah ran in and actually headed it, which was an unbelievable finish from the keeper's parry. That's the way I seen it. It was a great header. I mean, he was in the right place at the right time, of course, but he always seems to be. But Robertson, for me, I mean, we signed him for over 8 million from Hull City at the time he got relegated. I mean, he's one of the best signings. I was watching a programme last night on BBC after Match of the Day. I don't know whether you've seen it, with Gary Lineker, Mika Richards and Shearer talking about the top 10 signings of all time. Did you see that Premier League signings? Robertson was in, I think, 2 of them in the top 10 because of the fee and what he's done, captain of Scotland as well. But he's rarely injured, by the way. He is rarely injured. I think he's only been injured once or twice and not long layoffs. So he's an ever-present. He's just one of those players you think that could play every game. and most of the time does play every game. But it definitely is performance going forward, which we know are Liverpool's wingers, Trent and him. They're more like wingers, really. Has dropped off this season. There's no doubt about it. He's not getting as forward. His crosses aren't as good as they have been. Maybe it's a Mane issue, what Sophie was talking about as well. But I think it's just a team issue. It's the whole squad issue. There's a confidence issue there. We'd won the league first time in 30 years. We're living in crazy times, guys. Listen, we're talking. We look back over these podcasts and this season. It'd be on a game show in 20 years. People talking about this season. It's so crazy. Be on game shows talking about it. Trivia questions. What happened in 2021 season? There was no people in the ground for a start. So it has to have an effect on all the players. That's probably part of the front three as well. The fact that we're in crazy times, guys. We are mad times. And hopefully that'll end next season, but it'll be another while before we're out of it. But Robertson hasn't been right. I mean, you could point to me who has been right on the Liverpool team. Who has been at it? Nobody, I don't think. Fabinho, you might say, maybe. About it. Salah, goal scoring wise. But other than that, no one's really been. Everybody's had their own issues. Everybody's had a dip in form. And that's why we are where we are, guys. We've had so many dips. A lot of teams could have one or two players dipping. We've had half the team, maybe 3/4 of the team dipping. And we still have an outside chance of top four in the league. And we still have a chance in the quarterfinals of the Champions League. And we've had more dips than McDonald's. Dip City, baby. So, you look at it that way. So, I mean, Robertson will be okay. His energy is still there, which is a good thing. And he was involved with the goal yesterday. But I just think it's, as I said earlier, it's confidence. That's what it is. Probably tiredness as well. They haven't had a break for 3 years, guys. We've had trophies coming out our ears. Haven't had a break. Gengen, pressing, energy, Red Bull, 6 packs of Red Bull, the energy being used up is just unbelievable. And it has to tell somewhere, and it's telling at the moment. If they can get arrested during the summer, I'm just hoping most of our team can get arrested during the summer and we go again next season. This season's not over yet, though, but I think they need a rest, to be honest.
Yeah, I agree. I think I'm hoping that obviously for Robbo, that's a turn in the corner in terms of that improved performance, and we see him start to kind of get into his stride as we go on, because especially in the Madrid game, we're going to need him in terms of his creativity. So I'm hoping that's kind of a turning point. Just going to read out some of the comments. J-Doc says Divock Origi is the Lord and Savior. I think that's also in terms of like the goal scoring. Blade Brown, have you three met each other in person? No, we haven't met each other in person. Gandhi says, yesterday's game highlighted we need a goal scorer number 9. Salah and Mane are not clinical. They need most opportunities to score. Probably has a point there in terms of could be something we look to address. Clock Out says, Sophie, who's your favourite England player, Liverpool player?
Virgil van Dijk.
He's not England.
No, favourite Liverpool player, no?
Favourite Liverpool and England player.
Is it separate or all together?
I thought it was separate.
Who's your favourite Liverpool player? And maybe try separate.
And England player.
Okay, so we'll do separate and then we'll do together. So if it's separate, favourite Liverpool player, Virgil, without a doubt. Favourite England player, historically or now?
He hasn't said, just say now.
You answer it, doesn't matter.
If we go for now, favourite England player,
Hendo.
I'm going to go Trent. Favourite combined Liverpool and England player, I'm going to go with Hendo.
Okay.
Because he's our captain, isn't he?
Yeah.
Dave?
Yeah. I don't care. I couldn't care less. Favourite England player. You're acting an Irishman as favourite England player. Now, let's give you a break. But
favourite Liverpool player.
Favourite Liverpool. I don't really do that type of thing. Favourite Liverpool player, posters on your wall type thing. No. All time would be the likes of John Barnes, but that's gone way back into the 80s. But at the moment, favourite player, actually Mo Salah, the king of Egypt.
Mine's Mane.
He'll go down as one of the best players at Liverpool, guaranteed, right?
Oh, yeah,
Guaranteed.
But there's just something about Virgil for me. I adore the man. When we signed him, I was like, oh my God, we've got Virgil van Dijk. And then everyone jumped on the bandwagon and I was like, I loved him first.
See, that's a different reason why I love him, though. That's a different reason.
No, I love him for his footballing ability, and then he's an absolute beautiful man, separately.
There you go.
My poor husband.
He is a beautiful man. I'll give him that. He is a beautiful man. He has everything going for him.
I know.
Man Mountain.
Yeah.
Do you know what the funny thing is? My fella's only 5'10". He said to me and goes, "You're in love with a 6'4", like absolutely Greek god, Virgil van Dijk, and you've got me, and I couldn't be any different." And I'm like, yeah, but I get jealous of him.
Poor lad. What a tough life that is.
Who's not in love with Virgil, though?
I'd fall in love with Virgil at this stage.
I would. Everybody would.
I can't argue there. So there's another one.
And we all know next to he's got a poster of Virgil van Dijk.
Jaylen's also said it's Millie leaving this season. I don't think he is leaving this season. I think he's still got at least a year to 2 years in his contract. So
I don't know about that one. I think there's a possibility he might go to Leeds.
Really?
While he still has a year or two left in him, I think, yeah. While he can still play at the highest level. He's not getting any younger. What is he, 36?
34.
Yeah. For 4.
I thought he was 34. Jeez, he's been in the game since he was 17 for Leeds United. The amount of clubs he's been at is unbelievable. He won the league with City, by the way. He had a medal winning the league with City. I mean, he's just...
He is in his career.
Yeah, he's gone up. See, inflation from 34 to 35. See?
Yeah. His birthday is 4th of January, 1986.
There you go. I think he's only a baby, for God's sake. I think he should... I think, yeah. I know he's been unbelievable for us. We got him for a free. He's one of the best frees in history of the club. Has to be one of the best. And as Sophie was saying, the fact that Van Dijk is out and Hendo is out, two of the lads that will actually shout and have leadership and, shout at the players on the pitch and stuff. He'd be the other one, you would think, with all that experience behind him, that will actually give them a kick up the arse when they're not. You could see it, that way. And he was so important, I thought, yesterday as well. And he still has something to give us. I'm not saying he hasn't, but I'm just saying there's a possibility he might go this summer.
See, I think with Millie, though, Millie's always been a workhorse for us. He's always been one of those players that you can rely on. And there's a reason why he's the vice captain. He's got 8 major trophies in his career. He is one of the most, decorated career. Like, you look at Millie and you don't think world-class player, but he gives us all and he gives everything when he plays on the pitch. He is 34, but I do feel like last season's Milner and this season's Milner is a major difference. Like, I personally, I know 34 is not old. Like,
35!
34!
5!
Oh, he's just turned 35, hasn't he? Sorry. 35, 34. It's not old, but in terms of footballing ability,
we know it's not old.
It really is. But I feel like I've seen a major drop-off in his quality and form this season, definitely. I think like his age is kind of catching up with him a little bit in football terms. I don't see him going to Leeds. Leeds are a team that they've got something to prove. They're going to want fresh blood. They're going to want to stay in the Premier League and try and climb up that table and cement themselves in the Premier League. And I can't really see them, signing 36-year-old Milner at that time for their midfield. I feel like that's a bad move. You don't go and get Ronaldo aside. You don't go and get a 35-year-old player as a new signing. So I feel like Milner, if he was going to go, would have gone maybe last year, the year before, to Leeds. I don't think he's going to go. I think he's going to see out his contract, maybe another year with us and then move into a coaching role, because he is very commanding. He is very good at being on the pitch for the younger players. But no, I can't see him going to Leeds.
That's his dream. That's his dream.
But he's 35 and he's tiring out. Like, I'm not being funny, but if I was a manager of a newly promoted side into the
You're making me feel old. I was 48 today. He's only 35. He's only a baby.
But in footballing ability world, he's not. They start playing at 16. You said before that Milner's been playing professional football since he was 17 years of age. Yeah. That's nearly a 20-year career that he's been playing professional football for. 18 years. That high intensity, your body can't keep up with it long. There's a reason that professional athletes retire at a young age, because they put their bodies through hell for those 20 years. And Milner's he's aging now. He's very good, but he's getting old. He's getting on, isn't he? Poor lad. He's
Poor Milner. Poor Milner.
getting on, and he.
Well, I would want him to be like John Moore says to him to go into the coaching team, because I think he'd be a great youth coach as a great example. So yeah, but going back to the game, of course, yeah, you know, there's a lot of obviously people who are feeling like that wasn't a great performance overall. So I, you know, obviously before we started the show, like me and Dave were talking, and I was saying to him how I thought yesterday was more about getting the win rather than the performance, because we had to have a reaction, we had to get a win at Anfield finally, and we had to start, you know, going to the Madrid game on the back of a win. But overall, if we were honest with that performance, you know, in terms of attack, there was a lack of clinicalness and missing chances. And in terms of defence, midfield, again, it looked a bit shaky and a lack of overall pressing. So, yes, putting the result aside, does the overall performance concern you going into the Madrid game or going into the Leeds game because of how we actually played in that game? Start with you, Dave.
Listen, I'd love Liverpool to play 100% every game, 3-4-0 every game. Everybody be brilliant and all. We haven't had it for a while. Obviously, wins breeds confidence. It's better going into the Madrid game with a win and breaking that Anfield hoodoo, which we hadn't won at Anfield for a million years, since 65 million years, actually. Dinosaurs were around. So we needed to do that. The hex is gone. But we'll have to play better against Madrid to get past them. Because I seen them last night against Barcelona. They beat them 2-1, by the way, in the El Clasico, and they were decent. So performances is one thing, but I think yesterday was more about the results. We just needed to win. We're hanging on our fingernails in the top 4 spot. We were so close to getting a 1-1, and everybody would have been on a downer today, last night and today, if we would have got a 1-1, because it would have felt like a loss, to be fair. Draws are no use anymore. Draws mean nothing to us. We need wins. And just to get, there's nothing like a last minute or an injury time winner, guys. I don't know about yous, but there is nothing like a last minute. No matter how badly you play, we got a bit of luck yesterday. And maybe the tide is turning because we haven't had much luck this season.
What about you, Sophie? How did you feel the result?
I don't feel we played that bad. We've had much, much worse performances this season so far. That first half, like I said, we had 71% possession. We were all over them. We completely dominated that game, and we were threatening. We were everywhere, on top of them all the time. But I feel like in the end, we did become a little bit desperate. Like after Bobby's goal was ruled out, and we should have been, at 1-1, and then we should have been a, 2-1. And to know that, even though we won it 2-1, it really should have been a comfortable 3-1. Maybe a 4-1 if Mane had managed to get that goal at the end, which he should have. I feel like it became a little bit like grasping at straws. And like Dave's just rightly said then, we can't have draws anymore. Like, we need to play to win. We need wins, because draws won't do anything for us this time. And I feel like when the lads concede an early goal, or they concede one goal and we're down, the next goals, they're grabbing at them like children. They're just trying to they panic a little bit type thing. I feel like that calmness kind of goes out the window, and it's more a case of fuck it, just get a goal. Like, it goes back to 17, 18 football. It was just outscore your opponents. Doesn't matter if you concede, just outscore them rather than being clinical about it. But all in all, I don't think our performance was that bad. I feel like some players had a less than stellar performance for themselves personally. But I don't think the performance was that bad in itself. But at the end of the day, it doesn't matter how you perform, it's the scoreline at the end that counts. We could go into a game with our eyes closed and just stand there for 90 minutes, and then 92 minutes, the last 2 minutes of the game, score 3 goals. I don't really give a crap what our performance was like as long as we score goals. But like Dave said, we can't have that mentality going into the Madrid game with a team that is undeniably on form and absolutely battered us last time. We need to go in and we need to be the Liverpool we know we can be against Madrid, or we don't stand a chance in hell against them. But, I said it on Dave's chat yesterday, this is going to give us a massive impact going in, because we are not just playing Madrid, we're playing Madrid at home. And that, that drought at Anfield since January has now been cleared out, and it was cleared out by the scouts who are in the team. So we saw how much that meant when Trent's goal went in at the end. We saw Robbo's reaction. We saw Trent's reaction. Klopp was near crying. I think that goal being that Anfield winning goal happening by Trent will have meant a lot more than we possibly think it does, and it gives a little bit of atmosphere back into Anfield, which we know relies heavily on fans in a comeback. But I think we need to go in completely confident and give Madrid everything we've got. Otherwise, it's going to be no use, is it really?
Just going off that, so obviously we know how Liverpool started play. Obviously, when we have people fit, Virgil, Gomez, Van Dijk, Matip, obviously one of the key things for us is our centre backs being able to move the ball quite far quickly and actually be able to kind of bypass the press of the opposition by doing cross-field balls or long balls, or even just be able to move the ball quicker going forward. And obviously, Kabak and Phillips, for what they have done when they've come into the team, in certain games they've done as well as they can have done. And obviously we know the limitation stuff. But sometimes, obviously in certain games where the build-up plays a bit too slow from the back, and it makes it easy for teams to defend against us. Is that a worry for you going to the Madrid game? The fact that how our build-up play from the centre-backs is really, really slow. And also a lot of times when Kabak and Phillips, it's a lot of sideways passes. It's safe passes a lot of times they're doing. It's not like passes where they are like a Virgil or Gomez or Matip or even Fabinho when he's a centre-back would make in terms of like trying to get us on the front foot. So how do you feel in terms of that, like our build-up play from the back? Because even again in the video game, I felt the times when I watched it back on the replay, the possession we have is a bit slow at times. So just if we start with you, Sophie, is that a concern for you, or is that something that you think, well, we just have to live with it for the time being?
Dave, what did I say on your chat yesterday? It worked.
I don't know. I don't watch it back.
Well, you weren't happy with me when I said it. But Wahomi's just made it perfectly. And another reason why I said what I said yesterday is, I said Kabak and Phillips have done a really good job as much as they can do. For a 20-year-old from the Bundesliga, from the French league, and a 20-odd-year-old, 22, 23-year-old who was a championship player and then was out on loan. He was getting sold. Phillips was getting sold this season, and we only called him back because we were in a crisis. And I think both lads have stepped up, and you've got to give credit where credit's due. But they haven't got the experience to go head-to-head with a team like Madrid yet. And that's why I made the comment yesterday that maybe for that Madrid game, we do think about moving Fabinho back into centre-back.
Oh, now I remember.
Shut up. I know that when Fabinho went back into midfield, I was like, he should never be moved out to that 6 role again. He should never be moved out to that 6 role. But they lack a leader in that back line. They lack somebody with a voice and you can make those passes. And I'm not saying, and I'm basically I'm going to repeat myself again. I'm not saying that Fabinho should play the entire game as centre-back. Not for 1 second am I saying that, because we do need him in midfield. But we talked about position formations, and we talked about playing a 4-2-3-1. So if you're playing a 4-2-3-1, if you drop Fabinho back into centre-back alongside Kabak for that security and that, stop those sideways passes, maybe move it a bit quicker into the midfield, Fabinho can control the attack, especially from Vinicius Jr. He can keep up with this pace, whereas Phillips can't. It gives a little bit more speed on the back line. Then you've got a midfield of Thiago and possibly Gini, or ideally I'd like Jones, to be honest. Then you play our normal front three, and then you put Bobby drops back and you put Salah up front. It makes sense. I'm not saying it's ideal for the entire game. I'm not saying that it's in an ideal world I wouldn't put Fabinho back in centre back, but we saw what happened when we played 4-3-3 against Madrid and we didn't control that midfield with 3-on-3. They kept breaking through, and as much as Kabak and Phillips did a really good job, they were exposed a lot of the times by one single through ball and one player. And if that happens again, our away goal won't count for nothing. So, again, I'm not saying that Fabinho should be there the entire game, but I'm saying maybe it might be worth starting the game with Fabinho in that role, with a 4-2-3-1, going all out attacking, because we do need goals. Have all 4 of the front 4 on, have a holding creative midfield, and then have Fabinho back. And if the goals don't start coming and the tide needs changing, then go put Fabinho back in midfield and go back to 4-3-3. Go on a pivot.
Maybe.
You can always change it mid-game. You can always change your formation mid-game if it's not working. But I feel like those lads don't have the experience, as good as they are. They're not ready for this calibre of football, and under normal circumstances, they'd never be put in this situation.
No, we know that.
You know, and they've done a brilliant job, don't get me wrong, they really, really have, but I'm not a football manager, I'm not Jurgen Klopp, but from where I'm sitting and the way I'm seeing the games going, I'm going, hang on a minute, then they got absolutely annihilated by them. Do we need to just temporarily, even for 40 minutes, you know, let the game settle for 20 minutes, see what happens, give it till half-time, put Fabinho in centre-back, and see if that's what we need, that manager on the back line. Because I said it on Dave as well, if we had Henderson, I wouldn't have a problem with saying, right, take Phillips out, put Fabinho back in centre-back, and have Thiago and Henderson in midfield. I'd be fucking buzzing with that. And if we had Henderson, I'm sure a lot of people would agree with me on that fact.
Yeah, if we'd Henderson, it would be a done deal. That's the problem. Yeah. We don't have Henderson. We don't have it.
But you can't turn around and say, oh, because we haven't got Henderson, that's not the logical decision. Because
no, I'm not saying it's not logical. I'm just saying it's possible. It's possible.
But some people will turn around and say, well, if we had Henderson, I'd well be up for that. But we haven't got Henderson, so we shouldn't be doing that. Well, you've got to trust the rest of the team there. If we're playing a 4-2-3-1, then it works.
He might do it. Do you know why?
I've just seen that comment in the chat.
Do you know why he might do it? He might do that. He might.
Oh, fucking hell. I love that. That's hilarious. That's brilliant. That's amazing.
There you go. Well, homie must be 6'4". Are you, homie? You don't have to give your height away here, baby.
But no, like I would definitely think about possibly putting Fabinho and doing a 4-2-3-1 and changing it back if needed.
Put it this way, I think we need to do something drastic. We're 3-1 down. We've only got one chance at this. One chance, and we've a good chance of winning it. Get past Madrid, we play. It looks like we're going to play Chelsea in the semi. They're 2-0 up against Porto. And I mean, if we get past Madrid, I think we can do Chelsea. You know what I mean? I wouldn't be afraid of Chelsea. And then anything can happen in the final. So it's a one-off game. It's at Anfield. Pity we don't have the crowd. If we had the crowd, I'd be even more confident. But unfortunately, we don't have the crowd. We've broken the hoodoo against Villa, which helps a little bit. But I think Klopp might actually do that. I was talking to a lad yesterday, not on after the show we did, talking about Fabinho. And he said to me, well, if we'd Henderson, definitely do it. Of course we'd do it if we'd Henderson, but we don't have Henderson. But what he might do is, as Sophie was saying, he might do it from starting lineup and see how it's going. You know what I mean? The only problem is, if it goes wrong, you're out. So it's a big decision for Klopp to make. It's a possibility. Because, as I say, Phillips could back up against the likes of Benzema. I seen him last night against, I mean, he was giving Barcelona's defence to run around. Never mind Phillips and Quebec. You know what I mean? And like that way, I still think we've a chance. I mean, a one-off game, you've got a chance, haven't you? 2-0 will do us. And I think the only result that we can possibly go through on is a 2-0. Because if it's 3-1, it's extra time. And then it's sort of onto them because your away goals counting 2 and all in extra time to get when we need to. So I think 2-0 is possible. Can we keep a clean sheet with Phillips and Quebec? No. That's the question. But that's the question that Klopp's going to be looking at tomorrow on the training ground. Will he pull Fabinho back with Quebec, Robbo, Trent, Ali, play the three amigos up front, a rejuvenated Mane in the mirror, and possibly play Jota, Salah, Mane, Bobby in behind, feeding with the likes of Thiago and Gini. Well, I think that's the possibility. It's possible.
I think the only concern with that for me is if we play 4-2-3-1, then we allow one of Modric to Kroos to be free in the middle, and also when Fabinho's not in midfield, he's the only one that actually tackles. The others don't really tackle, you know, and so then you're meaning that Modric and Kroos are really under no pressure in midfield. And there's no one actually that's breaking up play against them. So it's a difficult one to find the balance.
Listen, Klopp's being paid very well to make this decision. He has all the experience. You know what I mean?
Well, let's put it this way: no matter what decision he makes, he's going to upset somebody, isn't he? You know, if he decides to put Mourinho back and centre back and go with the 4-2-3-1, like we've just talked about, people are going to be up in arms. If he decides to go with the 4-3-3, people are going to be up in arms about it. If he decides to go with any other formation, you know, he could go with a back line of 5 and people would still have something to create about. You know, he could find a loophole in the rules of the game where they could have 13 players on the pitch, not 11, and people would still find a way to complain about it. And I wouldn't want to be the one making that decision at the end of the day.
I would. I'd love it. But the thing about it is, that's what he gets paid for. That's his job. That's a professional. He's a professional. He makes decisions all over the shop. But the thing for me, it's not only him that makes the decision. It's Pep Linders and all the guys on his team that make the decision. They're looking at the boys every day training. They'll be at Kirby training ground tomorrow, ready to rock. My mate John Octoberg will be there. They'll all be there, getting ready. And they're looking forward to it, guys. I'm telling you. I think we have a chance. Look at the game against Barca, 3-0 down. I know Anfield, that crowd really got us over the line, but we needed 4 goals against a good Barcelona team. This isn't a fantastic Real Madrid team. They've had better teams. They're a good footballing team rather than having individuals. They have another injury, apparently, another 1 or 2 injuries. I see you at home, he did it earlier. He's out for the season, that young lad. But I think we've got a chance. The first goal is huge. We get the first goal, it's game on.
Yeah, just reading some of the chats here. Gandip says he's agreeing to play the 4-2-3-1, but have a double pivot to protect the back 4. And he's talking about hitting Madrid on the break. Jono says he agrees with Sophie, more or less. Again, with a 4-2-3-1. Gandip says you try Mane in the right, Salah in the middle, Jota on the left, and Bobby in the 10. IB, I'm just going to destroy that rumour. There isn't. Sophie's not moving to London. We're not in a relationship. We're not going to be in a relationship. So,
oh my God.
Kill that rumour.
A footballing relationship. A footballing relationship.
I have not left my husband. I have not left my fiance. I am still very
Your
much. Your
husband? Are you married?
And I am not having an affair with Wahomey.
Yes. Kill that rumour. So there, though. Moving on. So,
Stop it, Dave!
I don't know. Have anyone heard you about the game not being at Anfield? Will be moved to the Puskas Arena.
As far as I know, it's at Anfield.
I heard nothing.
Didn't hear that.
It's just like a joke one where
I think that's didn't hear that one. Sure, isn't England opening up tomorrow? Anyway, and you was opening up even more. So what the hell would it be moved for?
I haven't heard that either. I thought it was at Anfield, but
no, it's at Anfield. That's what I'm saying. I haven't heard.
Yeah, apparently I don't know. This Jay's also said he heard the rumor as well.
It's a rumor. Yeah. A rumor is a good Fleetwood Mac album. You know that, don't you?
Yeah, so just
being moved online.
No, can't see it. No, would have heard about that yesterday.
It's been all over Twitter. Everybody would have heard that.
Yeah, I don't think it has moved. I don't think it has moved. I think that's just
it's a rumor. It's a rumor
that have no substance to it. So after this game with the Villa game, how do you guys both feel about the top 4? You know, obviously 2 points off Chelsea. I think we're 3 points off West Ham. Leicester now lost today, so they're back in the run. And obviously we know Leicester history of bottling things. So it could be. It looks like there's 2 Champions League places up, 3rd and 4th up for grabs. Tottenham just lost, so they're 3 points behind us. So how do you guys feel about top 4 now for the rest of the season? Do you feel that we're going to get it, or do you feel that we're going to lose out to because we look at the fixtures, Chelsea still got hard. They've got Leicester, Arsenal, and City still to play, and Villa. So they've got some hard games. West Ham, I think they've only got Everton left to play, really. So they haven't. Their fixtures are easy. Leicester have got a hard run in. Ours on paper only hard games are Leeds and Man United, realistically, which are going to be 2 difficult games. Like, how do you feel about top 4? So we'll start with you, Dave.
It's not going to be easy. I'll tell you, West Ham have surprised me this season. I mean, they beat Leicester. Was it 3-2 today? They were 3-0 up. Your man Lingard. Lingard's on fire with them. On fire. I thought they'd drop off. I really did. Moisey and the boys, I thought they'd drop off. But We have a chance, guys. We're hanging on from our fingernails. I said it yesterday. We're hanging on. We have to win. I think we have to win every game. I really do. I don't think we can even afford maybe draws. Draws are gone. I think for us to be even in still with a chance, we have a chance against Madrid, as we just said. We have a chance. It's a small chance, but we have a chance and still have a chance top four. It's not going to be easy, but I just have a sneaky feeling that we might get it through the league. We might finish top four in the league. I just think we might do it. I think I'd be positive enough league-wise, but we got to win every game. No mistakes, no messing. We got to be lucky as well. We were a little lucky yesterday. The luck could be turning. That was, you have to say, injury time goal. Thiago has the shot. The keeper parries it. I thought that was the chance. That was it. And then the ball falls out to Trent. I don't know whether you've seen the replay, but how he fit it through a postage stamp into the corner. I don't know how he got around 3 players. So that was a bit of luck we needed. So maybe the tide's turning. But I'll be positive enough. We just got to believe.
What do you think, Sophie? Because obviously, like, if going by what Dave's saying, we have to win every game. Our record at Old Trafford is shocking under Klopp. It was shocking for Liverpool historically. So, like, that's not an easy game. So, like, do you feel that we have to win every game to get top 4, or do you think we can afford a draw as long as we win the remaining games, going by other people's fixtures?
I've said top 4 is available to us all season, even when everyone was like a couple of weeks ago was going, "Oh, top 4's gone for Liverpool now, and we're back in the race for top 4, possibly top in, getting 3rd place, depends on." A lot of teams are going to drop points. A lot of teams have got very heavy fixture lists coming up. In regards to the Man United game, we said yesterday that Man United have also got a Europa League game, and although that won't really defer them much, like they won't distract their attention from us, because they're going to want to take any points they can from us, because they don't want us in top 4 the same way we would. We'd do the same to them. But I do think that will give them a little bit of a tiredness about them. And our record at Old Trafford's not great. It's not. But what makes it difficult for us to play at Old Trafford is the fans. They are another team that really rely on their fans, just like we do. Like, they feed off their players in Old Trafford, and Old Trafford is a horrible place to go to, because it's a very domineering stadium when you've got fans basically hanging over you, shouting abuse at you. It's horrible. It's like coming to Anfield, and when players walk out into Anfield and you've got the flags going on the carp and you've got them, absolutely shaking the stadium, chanting and singing Liverpool songs, and You'll Never Walk Alone at the beginning. It's really intimidating, and I think the same goes for United. When we go and play at Old Trafford, it's very intimidating. So I think we've got a better chance than we normally have, because they don't have their fans either. They benefited from when they came to us at Anfield, because did we have fans at that time? Or were we just under because I know we were in tier 2. And I'm not sure whether we were allowed the 2,000 fans with them in the end. But either way,
that's Spurs game.
But either way, they won't have benefited from it, because even with 2,000 fans, it wasn't going to be the same as 54,000 fans. And I think when we go to Old Trafford, we are going to have the benefit there of not having their abuse thrown at us, to be honest. But I've said it the whole season that top 4 is ours if we want it. If we really want top 4, we need to go tooth and nail for it, and we need to fight for it with every part of us, and we need to win every game, because like Dave said, draws aren't going to do it anymore. Because if we draw, we then need to rely on another team fighting for top 4, dropping points. And although that's happened, like Tottenham have dropped points today, Leicester have dropped points today as well, you can't rely on other teams. If you want something, you're going to have to work for it. But it's completely up to the lads to lose it. But then again, if we get past Madrid, and if we do win the Champions League, we already qualify for the Champions League next year. So that then brings up the debate: do you put all your time and energy and effort into becoming Champions League winners and automatically qualifying and sock top 4 off? Or do you not take that risk and go for top 4 regardless anyway, and the off chance we get knocked out? So I don't know. I feel like it's ours to lose.
Yeah, I'm just going to read some of the comments. John Moore says top 4, he believes it's going to be Man City, United, Liverpool, and West Ham in that order. Believes in our team. Jay's actually said that they were thinking of moving it to the Puskas Arena, but it's going to be at Anfield. Gandeep says, in order for us to make top 4, we West Ham and Leicester slip up. Both Chelsea and United have the know-how to make it, and we'll make it. I don't agree. Maybe United, I think we'll get it. I don't think that's the case to Chelsea because they've got some hard games, and no one thought they'd lose to West Brom. So I don't think Chelsea are cut and dry as people think they are. And, Tuchel's not great under pressure. So I don't think it's simple as that. Just say Chelsea are going to get it. Klopp out says, if we don't get top 4, I'm hiding in the mountains.
Whatever you're into.
So just before we move on, so we're going to end with some trivia questions. But before we move on, we're just going to do man of the match.
Woo!
Who was your man of the match?
Who?
I'll go. Bobby.
Go.
Yeah, I said Bobby yesterday. I'm sticking with Bobby. That control in the middle of the pitch, that was a beautiful.
Dirty, baby.
He just plucked that fucking ball off the sky. He was so good. He was unlucky to get his goal, ruled for offside. But I think his actual, his positional play, his hold-up play, his creative, he was kind of like old Bobby. He was doing really, really well. All he missed was that goal at the end. But no, I think Bobby for me was really, really good. And I know quite a few people have said Trent, and I know Trent was actually given man of the match. But apart from Trent's goal, I don't think he had that good a game.
Yeah, he wasn't great.
I think that goal saved him, and I think when you take into account the entirety of the game, Bobby played a much better game and was more influential into the game than Trent was, even though Trent scored the last-minute winner. I feel like you take that goal away and Bobby's goal stands, Bobby wins it hands down.
Yeah, I agree. What about you?
I'm going to be controversial. I'm going to be controversial here. I'm very sorry. I'm in the middle of the two of you, by the way. I'm going to go Mo Salah. Mo Salah, the king of Egypt again. Got us back into it. I know we missed 1 or 2 chances, but he's a threat. Once he's on the pitch, he's a threat. That's what Mo Salah is, guys. I guarantee you, when he leaves Liverpool in a few years, you'll be looking back going, wow, that's the level he's at. Mo Salah for me. Just because he got us back in, 1-1, game on. That's it. You know what I mean? Trent was, as you said, Sophie, Trent wasn't great in the game. He wasn't. I mean, if that finished 1-1 and Trent shot gets saved by the keeper and goes wide, they'd be all on Trent's back again. Only for that went in the net. They'd be all on his back on Twitter again because he wasn't fantastic. And Southgate, by the way, was in the stand with his lovely waistcoat on, watching. So I'd go Salah. Bobby wasn't bad either, though. As you said, that control was delicious. I didn't even have me dinner after watching that control because it filled me up, baby. It was beautiful.
Oh.
But that was good.
It's a rare thing, but I'm going to agree with Sophie, and I'll say Bobby. So I'm going to put that as a hot take.
That is rare. Whoa!
That's not a hot take. You can't just throw in a fucking hot take because you agree with me. Come on.
This podcast is like a Tinder bloody podcast. What's going on?
You'll start the fucking rumors off again. Shut up.
So, on to trivia time. So, if you have any trivia questions, do put in the chat and we'll try and ask those.
Keep them clean, baby.
Yeah. First one I had for you guys was, when you were a kid, what film gave you the most nightmares that you watched?
Oh, it's
not
a film, right? But it freaked me out, and even to this day, I still can't watch it. Do you remember the Scooby-Doo episode? It's so bad. Honestly, God, it freaked me the fuck out. You know the one with the mummy?
Scrappy-Doo.
Oh yeah.
And he walked around saying "coin," and he's like, "Ooh." It used to freak me out, and I used to sit there crying because it'd be like he just this voice like saying "coin," and my sister used to walk around and it'd be dark in the middle of the night, and my sister would come in and she'd go "coin," and I'd freak the shit out, I couldn't do it, and if I watched it, it used to give me full on nightmares forever. And even at 26, I still can't watch that without wanting to die. It proper frightens me, and I don't know why. It's just
cartoon. You're afraid of a cartoon.
It's a cartoon mummy. And I go, I can't cope with it. freaks me out.
I suppose. Yeah.
Dave, what was your one that gave you scared you the most as a kid?
I'll go way back here. Going way back into the archives, the depths. Salem's Lot. I don't know whether you ever seen Salem's Lot. Stephen King book, but a film made in the late 70s. Oh my God.
No.
There was a vampires. These are crazy looking yokes now. And one of them climbing up against the window, scraping his nails on the window to get in. Oh, Jesus. Exorcist as well. Oh, some crazy ones. Oh, no, I'm not mad about horror films, to be fair. No, I'd rather comedies, but horror films, I'd rather stay away from horror films, to be fair now. Wow.
I think
Jaws, the original Jaws. Oh.
Yeah. I think for me that scared me the most was Aliens 2. There's a bit where the robot gets ripped apart, and it gave me nightmares for a long time. I couldn't sleep. I remember my mum used to have to sit up with me and keep the light on for a long, long time because I couldn't sleep because of Aliens.
I still sleep with the light on.
Here's you two with like actual films that freaked you out, and here's me going Scooby-Doo.
Scooby-Doo.
Oscar says Chucky.
It was just that one.
Oscar says Chucky. That's yeah. Klopp says Finding Nemo scares him. Okay.
Finding Nemo.
You're having me on now.
John Moore says The Crow. Blade Brown says Wolf Creek. Yeah, okay.
Wolf Creek, I think it's the Australian one, the serial killer going around killing the backpackers. That is scary, actually.
Yeah, that is a scary film. I saw that recently. That's a scary one.
Do you know what was really scary recently?
What?
The 7-2 at Villa Park. That was scary. That was scary. I won't even watch that back.
Next one. If you had a superpower, what would it be? Start with you, Dave.
If I had a superpower, what would it be?
Yeah.
Flying. Oh, I'd love to fly. Oh yeah, Red Bull gives you wings. Imagine being able to fly. Oh my God, that would be the dream. Like Superman or whatever way you want to fly, but just being able to flow around, fly. That would be the dream. Sophie.
I wouldn't want to fly because that's boring. Sorry, it's boring.
Boring? Can you fly? Can you?
I think I'd either like to be able to read minds or telekinesis.
Look, Clopouts says read minds as well.
But if I could read,
you read Clopouts' mind, did you?
If I could read minds, I wouldn't want to be able to constantly hear everything everyone's saying. I'd like to be able to turn it on and off and listen when I wanted to.
That's like What Women Want. Remember that film?
Yeah, Mel Gibson.
Do you remember that film, Mel Gibson?
And if I wanted to read your minds, I could be so an ideal world, Keith, did you clean up today? Did you hoover the stairs? Yes. Did you really? I want to be able to read minds for things like that. But I think telekinesis would be really cool because I'm dead lazy, and it'd be like, oh, I want that drink over there, and just yeah. Telekinesis would be
cool. Read minds. Yeah, okay.
I think for me, it'd be able to control time, so I can bend time to my will, go back in time, get the future. Yeah, I'd like to be able to do that.
Yeah.
And go back. If you go into the future and you change something, you come back to the present, you completely fuck everything up. If you go back in time,
that's
one change.
True, but
I didn't know you were able to go that powerful.
Knowing you'd go back in time, you'd fucking introduce yourself to somebody, and then we'd all come back and we'd all be upside, you'd fuck it up. You'd fuck it up royally.
I don't know if anyone's seen the Simpsons cartoon show where the toaster, and he gets told, don't touch anything, then he goes back in time and messes everything up. I would do that.
Yeah, I know you would. That's why I'm saying you can't have time travel.
This is an interesting one. Maybe you know, Dave. Can you name the Liverpool player to play in every division from the old fourth to the Premier League and play in the World Cup, Champions League, and UEFA Cup? I can't think far that back.
Name the Liverpool player playing in every division, all the way up the old League 3, 2, 1. The old it was before the Championship. This is way back.
I think it's the old fourth to the Premier League.
Hold on, it's saying Champions League. Does it mean European Cup? It's going back now because Champions League wasn't around. It means European Cup, doesn't it?
Ex-Liverpool player.
Yeah. Name the Liverpool player.
Yeah.
This is going back, though. This is obviously someone from the 70s or 80s. Well, I know Ian Callaghan played for Liverpool the most times. He's the senior all-time senior like games for Liverpool, but I think he started at Liverpool, as far as I know. Who came to Liverpool at that level? I don't know. No, he obviously has the answer. He wouldn't be asking the question. Can you give us a hint?
Yeah.
J81. Can you give us a hint?
Yeah, I think he's an ex-Liverpool player.
I've got it. I think.
How would you stop looking up on Google?
I've got it. Oh, you will know it, Dave. You will know it.
Give me a hint.
He's Irish.
Name ex-Liverpool player.
He's Irish.
Irish.
Well, he's probably English, but he played for Ireland. Is that what you mean?
No, he's from Limerick, Ireland.
Oh, he's from Ireland. Okay. Limerick. Jim. Hold on. Plays from Limerick, and he played for Liverpool. Jim Beglin.
No.
He's a right back. How are we going way back?
As well.
Are we going way back here?
He was
Like 70s or 80s?
The Liverpool.
I think it's Ray Houghton.
No, he was a midfielder.
Oh, okay. But he was Irish, wasn't he?
No, he's Scottish, but he played for Ireland. If you know what I mean.
He played for Fulham, Liverpool. He played for Liverpool between 2003 and 2008.
Steve Finnan.
There you go.
Is that the correct answer, Jay? Is it Steve Finnan?
Steve Finnan.
He's the only player to have played in the World Cup, UEFA Champions League, UEFA Cup, Intertoto
Steve
Cup,
Finnan. Steve
all
Finnan.
levels of the English Football League and the Football Conference.
What a player he was. What a player. He's a very underrated player, that guy.
24
Steve Finnan. That's if I'm right. Is it Steve Finnan, yeah?
Yeah, it is. I've just read it.
Okay, all right. Sorry, yeah. I didn't see the answer coming down here. What a player. What an underrated player he was. He came off at the half-time in the 2005 Champions League final, remember? Injured. And Haman came on and changed the game and we won it.
What? So if
You make a great Black Widow.
As if. Fuck off.
Definite. That's the personification of Black Widow. You're on the button.
But the last trivia question is: have you ever received a gift as a present and given it to someone else?
Yeah. Yeah.
What did you give away?
I did it at Christmas. I completely blanked on getting me TA's Christmas presents. And then it came into work on the last day and they'd all got me presents. Like, oh, shit. So I kind of went through gifts that I'd got off other teaching staff. I was like, right, you didn't give me that. And like quickly put together like a bottle of wine and like other like little bits for them. But I often do that. Like if I get a gift set or something that I don't want or can't use, I just kind of store it and go, right, that'll do for someone's birthday. The amount of times that I've been given like a hand cream set or like a bath set or something stupid, like girly crap that I don't want your Nivea bath set. I don't want your Bayless and Harden hand creams. I don't want that.
You can give them to me. My hands are a bit.
Like, I don't wear those things. So I don't see the point in throwing them away. I don't see the point in using them for using them's sake. So I store them, and then when it's someone's birthday, like my best friend who absolutely loves things like that, they get thrown as an extra little present. Great. Always do it.
Dave, have you done it?
No. No. I don't get presents. I don't get presents.
Your wife does it, doesn't she, though?
What?
Bet your wife does it, though, doesn't she? Bet you she re-gifts things.
My wife's nicer than me. Listen, if I got something that I wasn't particularly interested in, I would give it to my little girl. She's 10, so she could get most of the stuff. It was electronics for a phone or something. She'd get it, but not really. I don't know. Not really, no.
Yeah, I do that often as well. I do give.
So I don't know why you're sitting there judging me when you do it as well, you lying bastard.
He's just waffling. You're waffling now.
I do. It depends. If it gets really bad, then I give it away. Oh,
definitely if it's bad.
Yeah, if someone gets the boring link set at Christmas, I give that away. Because you give it to me all the time. There's no thought in it. You just bought me a cheap gift from Superdrug or Boots.
What's wrong with links? There's nothing wrong with links.
Yeah, but
links is good.
Yeah, people give it all the time. The same link set every Christmas with a shower, the joke, like a.
Or the socks. A packet of socks from Marks and Spencer's or something like in a pack of 3.
I say
Something like
all the
that.
time. My auntie does it all the time, and I'd rather she just doesn't get me anything at all, to be honest, because she'll go to like home bar, and like the gin glasses with the little like pink gin inside it, and it's like a £5, and I'll get it every year. And I go, oh, thanks, that's lovely. I go, I love gin, but I've got enough gin glasses. I really don't want another one. Like, I'd rather you just get me a Christmas card or just text me.
Why don't you say it to her?
Because it airs her feelings, and she goes, got you a present, and I go, oh, thanks, and I'm like,
Do you know what you should do? Send her the copy of this. Send her this on video. Say, watch the last few minutes.
You know what though? Literally, I might this year, I might just get the present and go, oh, I wonder what it is. Like, I'm surprised.
Okay, well, that's the end of the trivia question. I don't think anyone had any good trivia questions else. Although there was one earlier. Someone did ask about Liverpool.
How many drinks have you had? Someone's asking me how many drinks I had.
Yeah.
I've only had one drink all day, and it's my birthday, baby. One drink all day.
Well, someone did have Klopp did say, do you prefer clubs or bars, Sophie?
Clubs. If I'm going, let's be honest, if I'm going on a night out, I don't want to sit in a bar because I'm not. I can sit in my house and have a few drinks with my girls. Like, if I'm going out, I want to go and dance like an absolute twat.
I was just about to say, I'd say she's on the dance floor. That's
I'm on the fucking table. Let's be honest.
On the fucking. Well, there you go.
Dave, are you a bar or a club too old for you now?
Well, at my elderly age, I used to like the likes of Pop World and all these places like in Liverpool, but it's actually I like a nice bar with music. It has to have music. I hate sitting in a bar with no music and you can hear people talking. You know what I mean? I like some sort of music in the background, at least a bit of atmosphere. But to be honest, I go anywhere. Anywhere.
Yeah, I think for me, I'm a bar person as well with music. I don't really like clubs. I like bars with a small little dance floor. Rather than going to the club nowadays.
I could do me Michael Jackson. Well, has to have a decent size, has to have a decent size dance floor for me because, good 10 square foot at least, 10 meters square. Do me all Michael Jackson. You think I'm joking, don't you?
I seen you dancing, Dave.
I know you did.
I seen you.
But, that was a long time ago. But back in the day.
Well, okay. Well, I think that's the end of the trivia questions. So we're gonna wrap up. So yeah, it's been always fun having both you and Sophie on Dave. And yes, everyone else who's watching, do make sure you give Dave a follow and also give Sophie a follow. You can see their Twitter handles there.
Oh my god! As if I just went that way, like pointing.
Otherwise. Everyone else, make sure you smash that like and subscribe button. And we will be back on Tuesday for a special. We're going to be doing a special with the boys from Coppish for the Champions League. So make sure that you stay tuned for that because it's going to be a big, big show. Otherwise, everyone else, enjoy the rest of your Sunday. Dave, enjoy the rest of your birthday. And Sophie, we'll see you. Have a great day Sunday as well.
I'll see you on Tuesday.
Stay safe, guys. Stay safe.
Yeah, everyone stay safe. And yeah, up the Reds.
Let's go.